Wow, World Conference 2016. I love you guys. I love you guys. I don't know if you ever wondered or asked yourself, I love you, Lauren, ask yourself, how come this guy, Fat Joe, comes out here and pours his heart out and tells us about his failures, his trials, his tribulations, his triumphs, his victories? It's because I know the importance of words. You see, words could take you a long way. Some of you guys might be in the business, you might be struggling, and you came to conference, and just maybe something that Fat Joe tells you tonight will make you go back to your town and build your team, sell products, and earn residual income. So I'm here to help you guys, because you guys inspire me as well. The way I learned the importance of words was maybe 10 years back. My whole life, I was afraid to fly. My biggest fear is flying. And I would talk myself out. I would say, you know, that metal thing weighs 20 tons. If God wanted us to fly, we would have wings. There was no way in the world I was gonna go up there and fly. So if I would have bet my life savings 10 years ago, if I would have flew or not, I would have bet against me ever flying. That's how serious the fear was. So one day I'm reading a book, and it's from my favorite pastor, Joel Osteen. I love Joel Osteen, man. And in the book, it said, God blesses you, God's happy for you, God wants you to be all you can be, and he's always happy, and he gives you blessings, and he wants you to accept the blessings. But the only time the man upstairs gets upset with you is when he presents blessings in front of you and you don't take advantage of the opportunity. Now here I am, one of the top rappers in the world, biggest songs, and they're offering me $500,000, $250,000, $150,000 to go do shows in Europe and Africa and Asia. And I was scared to fly. And because those little words right there that I read, it motivated me, and maybe 2 days later, I jumped on a plane to Europe and started a whole tour. That's the importance of words. So that's why I come out here and I express my life and my passion for the business. You know, I became a very big believer. I told you last time I was here in World Conference, my mother was diagnosed with cancer when I was 18 years old, and it was throat cancer, and the doctor told her, Marie, it's very likely you don't survive. She went to chemotherapy for 6 months. I seen her go through the worst of her times. And when we finished the chemotherapy, the doctor said, listen, Marie, no good news. So I said, Doc, what do you mean no good news? He said, well, if it was my mother, I would let her stay home for 3-4 months and enjoy her with the kids, and then we'll just send her off to heaven. So my mother asked the doctor and said, Doc, is there any chance in the world I could survive this? Any chance in the world? And he said, well, it's 99% chance you won't even make it through the surgery. She said, well, Doc, there's 1% chance. She said, it's a 1%, I believe, I'm the 1%. Sure enough, 25 years later, my mother's still alive. She's with us to this day. Now, that taught me to believe in myself and believe in miracles, believe that anything's possible. You know, numbers don't lie. This ain't a hard business to believe in. We've been around 24 years. We made close to $7 billion, and us franchise owners have made $3.5 billion. Now, I don't got to sell that to you. These are the facts. I love this business. I ain't gonna lie to you. I swear to God, I love this business. I'm so passionate about it. You know, just last month, they had Powerball Mania, and I might have played in 20 states. I swear to God. And you know what I told myself? Because I was so sure I was going to win that Powerball. I said, if I win this Powerball, I'm still gonna be an unfranchised owner. I'm still gonna be standing on that stage the 7th. Love this business. You know what? Some people got the right ambitions. Some people's minds in the right places. Some people believe, but some people even get tired of believing. You actually can get tired of believing. My friends, never get tired of believing. Never get exhausted. Always believe, always stay focused. I tell you this because I recently just got back from Australia. Shout out to Market Australia if you in the house. And I went on tour at night, and in the daytime, I was out there with the Australian team, motivating them, doing UBPs with them. I got to meet some phenomenal people, Susie and everybody out there. And I like to think I was the hottest thing moving in Australia, but the truth is, the Australian Open was going on while I was out there, and that tennis was the hottest thing smoking out there. So every night I'd be in my hotel room, and I don't know about you guys, but tennis, it's all about Serena Williams for me. It's all about Serena Williams for me. I love this girl, and I'm watching her, and she's winning every match, every match. She actually won 23 sets in a row. 23 sets in a row. A sure winner. So now when I watched her win 23 sets in a row, the day before the finals, she had a big press conference. And I'm like, yeah, Serena. And the guy asks her, he says, how do you think you're doing, Serena? She said, well, I won 23 sets in a row. I feel great. How do you think I'm doing? And he said, well, I believe you're doing great. She said, well, I believe I'm doing great. And even if I lose tomorrow, I'll still be happy because I think I did great. I said, whoa, Serena, you're scaring me. Because you're giving yourself a way out. You're counting your wins out. Sure enough, everybody's at the TV the next day. She lost in three straight sets. Because she talked herself out of the win. You can't talk yourself out of the win. If you're in the business and you want to earn residual income, you want to be your own boss, you tired of the system that's holding you down, you can't talk yourself out of the win. You can't let these doubts come in front of you. You know, you know, don't let the dark cloud follow you. Don't let the dark cloud follow you. When you wake up, you say, God, it's going to be sunny. I'm going to win today. You know, I analyze this thing called life. And to me, life boils down to security. Everybody wants to be secure. You want to be able to own your house, pay your bills, send your kids to school. You don't want medical bills to destroy your family and your household. Well, even rich people like Lauren and JR, they worry about security. Because when they have a problem, it's catastrophic. It's like a tornado. One false move is over. So everybody wants security. The only way to get security is to earn residual income. See, residual income is something you work hard for, and then you receive it the rest of your life. No one can take that away from you. It's the greatest insurance and security you could ever have in your life. You know, I tell you, I'm a dreamer. I dream big. I believe in dreams. And guess what? The only thing you have in life that's free is dreams. It's the only thing you have in life that's free. How do you think the usher's gonna make it out of being the usher? Or the woman that works in the concession stand's gonna make it out of there? She has to dream big, bro. I often dream that I own my own island and I'm butt naked on a beach with a mango, but I ain't gonna tell you about that. You know, JR might have forgot about this, but a couple of months ago, I told him about this nightmare that keeps coming to me for years and years and years and years and years. See, I started with nothing in the Bronx. And I often have this nightmare where there's this cartoon, giant-in-life project, housing project, affordable housing project with hands and feet chasing me down the block like, Joe, the project building is trying to drag me back to the projects. See, but I always convert a negative into a positive, and I say, you know what, Joe? That's your subconscious telling you you're doing the right thing and you're going the right direction. Chris Gotti. You know, recently, about a month and a half ago, a good friend of mine, a real famous actor, his name is Malik Yoba. You might know him from Empire, everything. And Malik said, yo, Joe, man, I'm doing this seminar for these underprivileged youth and coming. You know, you could always suck a Joe for the kids. So I fly up in there, and it was a pretty amazing seminar. I sat there, and he brought up 10 different people from all walks of life on stage. People that would have never bumped into each other. People who would have never seen each other, never the same careers, never nothing. This African guy stand up on stage, and he said he grew up in a civil war country in Africa, and he moved to the UK, and one day he was just walking down the street, and some lady told him, boy, you beautiful. Are you a supermodel? And he said, supermodel? The light bulb. He went to 40 different modeling agencies. They all closed the door on him. Finally, somebody accepted him. Now he's a supermodel. Not only that, he's an entrepreneur selling shoes, making millions of dollars. They had another young lady. She was an Indian woman from India, and she's a very famous actress. But more importantly, she's an activist. See, I never knew, and I'm not criticizing or throwing shots because I can't talk about what I don't know, but I never knew they had a real problem in India with men groping young ladies and getting away with violations to women that they don't get locked up. I never knew this. So as she's talking about how she's petitioning and she's walking and she's talking to the government about setting rules for these guys, you know, I found her very amazing. The next person came up was a young lady from Connecticut. I can never forget. She's in the music business. She knew nobody. She went to the woods, the forest, put on a camera and started playing her music. And before she knew it, she gained this big following. Now she tours and makes hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she did it out of a forest in Connecticut. Now, why I'm explaining this to you is because all 10 different people from 10 different walks of life came on stage, and they all said 3 things, same exact way. They said, I made it because I was relentless. I made it because I believed in myself. I made it because I was determined to make it. My friends, you're never gonna make it if you don't believe in yourself. Now this business, if this doesn't make you a believer, over 400 people becoming millionaires, I don't know what can make you a believer. You have to believe in yourself. That's the one thing everybody has in common. And last but not least, this is a story that touched my heart. And I said, you know, I gotta share it with my family, my Market America family. And it's about a young lady named Malala. Now, Malala, you know about Malala? Well, Malala is a young lady I saw in the news, and I was amazed by her story. And she's a young lady from Pakistan, and her father was a school teacher. He built the school for the kids. And she grew up in a town in Pakistan where it was all peaceful, where her friends played soccer. She loved going to school. She was like, if you're a gym rat, she's a school rat. And a very intelligent girl. The Taliban, the terrorists, took over her town and started making new rules. And one of the rules was no little girls in school. Now this little girl loved education. So she went and publicly denounced the Taliban and said, I want to educate myself. I want my friends to be educated, and I don't care who likes it. So this young lady's only like 14, and she's protesting against the Taliban, bro, in Pakistan. Sure enough, they shot her in the head. So now when they shot her in the head, she was in a coma for, I think, months. When she got up from the coma, it didn't deter her life. She got back up. She's went all around the world encouraging young little girls to go to school and get an education because she feels the women are the future. I mean, this young lady even won a Nobel Peace Prize. She's a teenager and won a Nobel Peace Prize. But now, I told you about Malala and how powerful she is, but what's even more powerful than her is the name Malala. You see, she wasn't the original Malala. The original Malala came from Afghanistan. Her father, when she was in her mother's stomach, would always talk to her mother's belly and tell her about Malala and the brave Malala and the courage Malala had, right? So now the original Malala grew up in Afghanistan at a time when Afghanistan was at war with England. Now, one day they had the battle of all battles, and England was far superior, and they was winning this battle. So the Afghan army gave up, in a sense, and they were running back. This young girl, the original Malala, 16 years old, grabbed the Afghan flag, ran up to the highest cliff, and all the men looked at her, and she said, "I'd rather live as a lion for one day than to live as a slave for 100 years. She'd rather live as a lion for one day than as a slave for 100 years. Unfortunately, she died that day in the middle of the battle. But the Afghan army, she encouraged them to fight, and they beat the English army because of Malala. Now, I have to ask you, would you rather work and build this business as a lion today than to be a slave for 100 years to the system that was designed to hold you back anyway? I don't know about you guys, I'd rather be a lion. You don't want to work 45 years somebody else's plan. You don't want to get fired after you think you're the logo of a job. You can't be a slave to the system. There's no more middle class. You have to be an entrepreneur.